Hi guys, welcome to Darren's Coding Corner, and today we are going to be simplifying the next form of the quizzes. So let's start by just widening this down. I'm going to move these to the bottom right hand corner. And then I'm going to go into the addition and just, let's see. Yeah, everything's there. And then we need to just tweak a few bits about. So we've got then add one, which will then make that multiply one. As such, because yeah, we get rid of that and rename that to multiply one, and then we'll just quickly do a debug on that. In the hopes that that will work. And then ultimately I'll get rid of the calculator, which is what's on here. I just want to check. Yeah, so it goes up there now. So that works. I can get rid of that as, yeah, it's the del button that gets rid of that. And then I will copy that text and put that there. That's a multiply sign. Get rid of that. And then we just want to double check just to see where the answer appears. Let's wait for that to sort itself out. So it's not there. 6 times 5, by the way, is 30. So it's going down there at the moment. And you still get your calculator as well. Which what I will do is I'll combine all those calculators into one. Into just a normal calculator when the time arrives. Multiply 2 we'll look at next. Get rid of that. And we'll make that multiply 2. As such, and then we can get rid of that. Equal sign can go as well. And then I'm going to rename that to answer. answer 1. From there, I just want to check, see if that will light up. I forgot I did that. Yeah, I need to correct the code as well. Yeah, I forgot I did that. But the code of going, the new code of going to the check, that can now go, and we can return 5 group boxes into 2. And that is question number multiply. I wonder, yeah, you're just going to keep doing that, aren't you? But yeah, I am going to simplify this code down next. Because yeah, this bit's just unnecessary. Yeah, particularly that bit. Let's now, I just want to go back into my subtraction form. Yeah, that can stay the same then. To that, otherwise, I'll just confuse stuff. Yeah, that can just stay the same. Maximum length 3. We'll leave it at that for now. But what we'll do, so we can get rid of that. And then straight away, I can then just go with the form 820 by 410. And that gives me that's almost consistent apart from that, which I will deal with under simplifying the quiz. So let's start with question number, add quiz. Because we've got 7 errors, and all of them because that's not declared. Well, first off, there's one way to get rid of it and get rid of 4 errors. Is to get rid of that. Got rid of 6 errors by doing that. And there's one left. The message box organizer. Yeah, I can get rid of that. There we go. Now we've got no more issues. The next thing I want to do is to go back to here. So make that 10, I think. Just remember, the last number is never shown. And then we do the check here. Which then with that, you've got the following. I just want to check. So it's next question. Yeah, so you don't need all of that. Was completely unnecessary. So we want that. Which I'm going to sort out. And then we want the if. Because all you need, yeah, that's showing the wrong stuff. We'll do the correct answer first. Which is just so if it's correct, don't need that. Yeah, now we've got it. So we don't need that, we just need that. And then we want to do an end if. That automatically corrects it. Get rid of that end if. We just want that. That's all we need. And then of course we need the answer to be blank. That's all we need. It's just what we've got there. And then if it's wrong, I'll put it as an else if. We can then get rid of that. Because we literally only need 2 lines of code. Which is that. We don't need that. We just need don't even need that either, because it automatically makes it false. It automatically makes it false when, so you go back to the subtraction, it automatically makes it false when that should automatically make it false when that, let me double check that, when it should automatically make it disable, should automatically disable the check button. Can't do that because, yeah. Let's go back to the form, because I'm dealing with that at the moment, that's why. Let's cut that and move it down to there. Let's try that again. It should automatically right, I can get rid of that now. In actual fact, I could get rid of all of this as well. Let's cut that. So I didn't want to do that. And then replace this with what we've got there. Yeah, I want to try the subtract to see whether or not, because I didn't put the disabling of the text on that once it's cleared, because it should automatically do that, and if it does, I'll get rid of that of the add and subtract of the add and the multiply. So let's do 23. Yeah, it does. Because now if you go back into the subtraction form, and you look at that, it's nowhere to be, oh, it's there. Because it will stay enabled if you don't. Most likely because it will stay enabled if you don't. So I'm still wondering, I've got 38 lines of code here, and I've only got 33 lines for the subtract. Now I'm going to end up with 33 on here as well. I just want to, because that's that, it's a blank. Let's get rid of that, put it down there. Cut that. And put that there. And I've just got to double check. Check tool strip menu item 1. So now I'm going to get some errors. Yeah, like that. But of course we now need to add that, because it, based on my understanding, that would keep it enabled if you don't. Let me double check that. I'm hoping it would have automatically disabled the menu strip item if you clear the answer box. We shall find out. That is 72. It does. So I'll just click on that. So I can now, this will get rid of a couple of lines of code. That's all you need. Let's get rid of that and that. That takes me down to 36 lines of code for that. And then I'll try it on the addition. Quickly answer a question, 118. Yes, it automatically does it anyway. Let's see if we purposely get one wrong. So let's put 63. Yeah. I know what the answer is. It's 61. It's 61. I just made it 63. I put 63 because I'm testing gave the wrong answer so I could test some code. And then I could do the same here as well, because we don't need that. And we don't need that either, because it automatically disables when you clear the answer box. Just wait for that to load. There it is. That's 8. Let me give a wrong answer on purpose, just so I could test what happens if you get it wrong. There we go. That's done. Now we can get rid of that. And I think this will be good to go as well. Have I locked the others into place? No, but I think I will. Like that, and then you can still freely adjust the form. Lock them into place. Lock them into place. No more coding needs to be done. You can get rid of that. And then we can now get rid of this. We can get rid of this as well. Which then all it leaves for me to do now is the divide, which I'm going to do something different with that. Not only do I plan to simplify the code, but I also plan to tweak it a little bit as well. So everything would be just divisible by 5 in this case. So the next thing we want to do is go to the welcome form, because we now want to get rid of that. We want to re-enable that. And then we want to go into the code. Let's get rid of that and that, because I didn't do the subtract. But before we do that, we'll put that there. Yeah, I forgot I had that error there. But it still showed up as acceptable. Then we do F5. In the hope that that will work. I'm very excited actually with this in place because it means I'm able just to do this. It means I'm just able to simplify my code and make it much easier to follow. And of course that's going to be the wrong answer because it's 21. There we go, it's 21. One thing I do want to look at, this is what I think about it. Welcome form. Let's do the new close. Get rid of the message box as well. And then we can now get rid of that. And hopefully, before we do that, we need to re-enable the more tools, and we need to re-enable the close. Let's see what happens here. And that takes care of that, and now we can just close it as normal. What I do want to also do, which I'll do in another video once I've simplified my division code, is to have that clock run instead of that one. Makes more sense to have that clock, the bottom clock run than the top one. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.